Hey y'all, this is Moni.
And this is Kat.
AKA. And this is the Fake Ass Book Club. Wait, can we both say it or no?
Welcome back, you guys. It's your girl, Moni.
And this is Kat.
And welcome back to the Fake Ass Book Club, you guys. Thanks for tapping in this week. We actually read a book.
We did.
Listened to a book for those who want to be petty. Okay, I'll listen to a book. And this week, I feel like you've talked about this in the past. I feel like it comes up a bunch. It's been in the zeitgeist in popular culture recently, but Sex and the City, the original source material by Candace Bushnell. So I want to give you guys a little bit of a synopsis about the show and about the book. So Sex in the City began as a newspaper column by Candace Bushnell for the New York Observer between 1994 and 1996, chronicling the romantic escapades and social lives of Bushnell and her friends in New York. The columns were compiled into a 1996 book that inspired the hit HBO series, 2 films, and the Max revival, and Just Like That. Candace Bushnell's alter ego, Carrie, serves as our narrator. She introduces readers to characters like Carrie, Mr. Big, and Samantha, navigating love, status, and sex in a world of privilege, parties, and heartbreak. This book isn't a traditional novel, but rather a collection of loosely connected essays and vignettes. It paints a portrait of a certain type of single woman, successful, savvy, and navigating a social world where love is often transactional and appearances mean everything. You've seen them on HBO, but this is the book that started it all. So there you have it, guys. In a nutshell, this week, we're going to be talking about the source material for Sex and the City. So I'm excited to get into it, friend. What about you?
Moi aussi. I'm fancy.
Is that French?
Yeah, oui.
Oh,
Me too.
okay, yay. Like, are you agreeing or not? Like, okay, so, but before we get into the episode, I don't know. There's a thing we normally do. I don't know. Maybe we'll dedicate this episode. Maybe we'll just go ahead and get into it.
All right.
So,
I'm into that.
hands over your hearts, Fab Fam. So this week and every week, we want to do a special shout out to all of our patrons. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for your continued support. And I actually want to dedicate this. I feel silly because, I don't think I can reiterate how many people in June I love. I said this last week, but it just keeps happening because it's still June.
Over. Yeah, it's going to be June for a while.
Today, specifically, that we're recording is one of, it's your cousin, but she was one of my faves. And so her birthday's today, so shout out to her. It's one of my niece's birthdays today. So just, all the June baddies, I'm saying, yeah. I'm a fan. So I'm just gonna
birthdays are awesome. Summer is awesome. It's like a perfect, compound of awesomeness.
It definitely is. So that's my dedication this week, friend. What about you?
Yes. And I once again, there's so much. I can't do just one.
All right, do it.
So I'm going to do one to, first and foremost, all the dads, because this is going to come out the Wednesday before Father's Day. And once again, parenthood is such an undervalued job, especially because people are like, oh, quality time. No, parenting is about that garbage time, that just boring, long, like you just in there, like you just got to be there. Like it's not just going to the mall or going to the game and going on trips. All that stuff's super fun, but when you're in the trenches, that's when you're parenting. Like just that, I'm bored, I'm hungry, what are you doing? All that stuff. That's so to all the dads out there doing that, thank you for your service. And then also Coco Golf. Did you see she won the French Open?
I did.
First American since Serena to do it. So thank you, and looking gorgeous doing it.
Oh my gosh.
That was very inspirational to see. Got my life to that. And Meg the Stallion announced at DreamCon that she's got an anime coming out, and she's working with one of the producers from Boondocks. Yes. You got me very excited because if there's 2 things I like, it's anime and Meg.
Let's go.
So, dedication over.
Yay.
Yeah.
Fun and exciting stuff, you guys. Okay. So, friend, there's nothing else to do but get into it.
Yeah.
All right. So, I don't know if you want to let our listeners know. Actually, I don't know if you have it yet about our author, but just real quick. Candace Bushnell, as far as the actual book stats, you guys, it's a 304-page book. It was released by Mass Market paperback, first published January 1st, 1996. It's a 7-hour audiobook, and it was read by Cynthia Nixon.
How appropriate.
If you guys don't know who she is, for some reason, she is the person who played one of the 4 main characters.
Miranda Hobbs.
In the actual series on HBO, Miranda. So it was nice to have her.
That voice in here long. So you took the only copy of Sex and the City from the library. I've actually read it before, but I wanted to reread it again for the podcast, so I got the physical copy.
Oh, nice.
And I read it about halfway through and just got frustrated of sitting still for so long. So I tried to do that trick of having the screen read, like the Kindle version.
What's the name of the person on your thing that read it to
this
you?
time I moved, it was Daniel.
Daniel was the
I
worst.
wouldn't want Daniel
I'm sorry.
reading that,
He's
so I
the
moved it
worst.
to Samantha.
Okay, and how did she do?
She did great.
Okay.
Well, but first I had to do a little tweaking though, because it wouldn't let me do it. Like before it was on a Kindle book that I purchased. I don't think it lets me do it on the rentals from the library.
Rude.
So, but they don't know about Cat.
I'm
Took
persistent.
screenshots.
Okay. Ooh, and then read that, please.
Samantha.
Samantha.
Nice try, nerds. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
unstoppable.
I like
Can't
it.
stop.
I'm not mad at you, friend.
But yeah. So I did half and half.
Okay, very nice.
So, but yeah.
So when did you read this?
Earlier this week. Like
No.
Oh,
Back
like,
in the 1900s. Did you read it in the 1900s or was it the 2000s? Early?
It was probably in the 2000s, like after I started watching the show and then found out it was based on a book. So early 2000s, read the book.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so tell us about the girls. Okay, Candace Bushnell.
Candace Bushnell is an American author, journalist, and television producer. She wrote a column for the New York Observer, and it was adapted to the best-selling Sex and the City. And the book, okay, so this is all stuff you had said, but she's 66. Okay. She was born in Connecticut. She was married from 2002 to 2012 to Charles Askengard, and she went to Rice University and New York University and Glastonbury High School. And she wrote a bunch of books. And she's also touring a live one-woman show right now.
Is she?
Yeah, which is super cute. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
I'm kind of telling her version. Actually, that was really funny because one of the books she wrote was called Killing Monica.
Ooh.
Yeah. I was like, because
she's a hater, obviously.
Well, she was doing sort of a meta commentary about people comparing her to Carrie. So really, Monica was Carrie. But she couldn't say that. You know what I mean?
Killing Carrie.
Yeah. So it was kind of interesting where she was trying to get out of that shadow and be like, no, I'm actually a person. Because as we've observed, I think you may have noticed reading the book that there are a lot of very big differences between Carrie and Candace.
Very much so. It was it was like an alter ego. Like when I heard her kind of speaking about it in different interviews and stuff, you know, she created this alter ego because she said that when she first started writing the column even, and knew that it was going to be adapted, her parents were like, yeah, we just got a subscription. So we wanted to she was like, oh yeah, I can't do this first part.
Because she did dance topless at a club.
Who did?
Carrie.
Chaperone? Oh.
Not Carrie.
that.
I'm sorry, Candace.
Oh,
Carrie in the book.
Yeah, that's right. She sure did. She sure did.
Like,
Ugh.
girl,
Yeah, you don't want your mama knowing that even though you're 30.
And you dance in the club. Yeah,
With
nobody
your
would. Yeah.
ladies out.
So where do you want to start?
Let's start in the beginning. I just feel like I don't know, when you think about Sex and the City in terms of the actual HBO series, for one, just for me, I know you introduced it to me. It wasn't anything that I was necessarily on. I remember you had the VHS tapes. I had a TV that had a VHS tape thing on it. So you had all the tapes there. And I just remember laying across the couch and being like transported into this world that I didn't even know I wanted to know about.
Yeah.
Because it's so outside of my everyday life that it was very fascinating.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
think I described it before we started recording as the lives of sort of the rich white New Yorkers.
100% that.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, this is interesting because one of
we don't have
the
access.
criticisms of the original Sex and the City HBO show was there was a lack of diversity, but that was authentic. like people don't like to think of like New York as being segregated, but it's deeply segregated.
Deeply segregated.
So yeah, these
Deeply.
rich white people, no, they wouldn't have been hanging out with black people.
Right. And I don't want you just throwing in an obligatory black person just to
My
make
own
the
Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, like don't do that. Like now you got the black best friend who you give all your hand-me-downs to. I'm cool.
Not best friend, employee.
Thank you, assistant
Right.
who brings you
You
coffee
are
and
not
whatever
on my
the hell.
level.
Right,
No,
period.
no
Know that.
peers. No.
But yeah, like you brought it to, like to the forefront for me. And I didn't think I'd enjoy it as much as I did though, because I didn't think that it was going to be relatable in terms of like these rich and affluent white women in this world. It's like, this feels very unattainable.
But it's relatable
But
because
it's
it's
relatable.
men and women.
Yes, I mean,
Around the
themes
world
are universal.
They're having the same problems in rural China, okay? It's all around the world. We've read a lot of books.
We've read a lot of books,
We've
guys.
read a lot of books, and it's still like men. And it's like
Women.
women. Yeah.
How are we tasked
And
with this?
so I guess it's always just maybe reassuring in a way.
It's reassuring, and
it's like it's
then-
not the lack of money that's causing the problem.
No. In fact,
It's not the lack of status that's
the
causing
money
the
makes
problem.
it weird in
It
real time. So that was sort of
There were
interesting.
some very weird stories. Okay,
That
well,
was
where I
certainly
want to start
interesting.
out with is being a little critical towards the editor of the book. Because one of my very first note, because like I said, it's been a while since I've read this, and I was like, oh, Candace, because she alluded to Breakfast at Tiffany's, like Truman Capote, and talking about that. Now, we read Breakfast at Tiffany's.
We did.
So, yeah, it's clear to me that Candy B did not read Breakfast at Tiffany's. I'm going to read a little excerpt from the first page.
Not you.
Truman Capote understood our 90s dilemma. The dilemma of love versus the deal, all too well. In Breakfast at Tiffany's, Holly Golightly and Paul Varjak were faced with restrictions. He was a kept man. She was a kept woman. But in the end, they surmounted them and chose love over money. Is that what happened?
No, I don't remember that.
Now that's what happened in the
They were never
movie.
together. See, that's what it was. I get it. You didn't have time.
So fine, Candace, you made that mistake. You're just writing a column for the Observer.
But your editor.
Your editor didn't read Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Wow.
It's like, and so two yahoos from Indiana doing a podcast caught that.
Two. I didn't even catch you. Only one who brought it to my attention. Now that you say that ain't
Maybe
right.
I could be an editor. I'm very pedantic.
You could.
So-
You need that. You need that.
It's like, actually. So yeah.
Okay.
So to me, that's page 1.
Wow. So we're gonna have notes here, guys.
That was my biggest one, because to me that's just something that always bothers me when people act like you
know
said
and you
Truman
don't
Capote's name, so he wrote the book, and you didn't buy, and it is a masterpiece.
It's really good.
It's so good. It's like, but if you had bothered to read it, because very similar to you, he disguised him, because he wasn't even named Paul Varjak in the book. She just called him Fred, because that was her brother's name. He didn't get that name until the movie. You know that if you read the book. And then, and you'd also know that he didn't have a romance with her. He was a closeted gay man, like Truman Capote. He wrote this about a real girl who lived in his building. Like this was so to me, it's always interesting, like the fiction and the media myth.
Well, which is
that sells.
So fitting for this particular piece of art.
I thought it was a good way to
segue,
kind of
friend.
set it, because I always like to let people know this is, maybe I should say it to the end.
Okay.
I can edit it. You let me know if I should say it now or later, because spoiler. There can be spoilers for this old ass book.
Yeah, let's not. Let's save it for the end.
Okay.
Because now, see, they're interested.
Well, it's not even the book. This is a spoiler for real life, because it's not in the book.
Well, so yeah, let's keep the spoiler for the end.
Okay,
Keep y'all,
okay.
you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
If you
keep 'em
thought you was
guessing.
about to log off right now, now you'll stick around. Yeah, so to me, okay, so let's just start at the beginning. New York City.
In the 90s.
In the 1900s.
In the 1900s.
Single women. It's like, I would very much say that this book is like New York City is the 5th character. Like if you think about the actual series, like the backdrop is just as important because this feels very specific to New York.
Yeah.
And like we mentioned before, even though a lot of like the terminology that was developed in the book, like that they talk about, like the biker guys and the bicycle boys,
modelizers.
Yes, there's a lot of terms that get used that I'm sure are specific to New York City. But again, the vibes are the same, right? Like no matter where you are in dating, there's always the ones that are unavailable, always the ones who are
toxic.
Yeah, been bachelors since, you got the old niggas in the club still, all of those kinds of things. But it was just interesting because us growing up in indie Midwest, it's like, a lot of it feels out of touch. So it is very interesting to get a glimpse into what does dating look like now? Like you say, money doesn't necessarily assure you love and connections and stuff like that. But what I find and listening to this was like, God, it just makes it a lot more messy. It felt very, how you think about business, like getting ahead in business. It felt like that. It felt very much like,
closing the deal.
Jeez Louise.
Listen, rings are for closers.
God, I said, this is... and it just made me feel like, man, I don't know how much better this has gotten. And then it makes me feel, or even, a lot of the conversations that happen now around like men and women and dating, I'm thinking about like Kevin Samuels, like some of the more toxic things that we don't enjoy necessarily. Not to say that, again, like people aren't all the way wrong. I will say that Kevin Samuels made points that probably were actually true. But I feel like at the end of the day, the way that we think about attracting a partner, what we need to do, what's important, all of those kinds of things kind of come up in the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
So to see that illustrated from a very specific point of view, New York socialites was just like, wow, this is pretty cutthroat and pretty gross, actually. It was
Actually, you know what it
disgusting.
also made me think of? Because it's funny how many things, like other things we've reviewed, that this made me think of a little bit of Lady Whistledown. Like that was kind of what, Candace was doing. Like, she was basically, because everybody wanted to read the, whatever. Every time she had an article out, that's why she was kind of a local celebrity there, because everybody wanted to hear the tea. And she had the tea.
And what was interesting too, the publication that it was in wasn't like a women's publication either. It was like 60% men reading
paper.
it. Right.
Yeah.
But when you looked at the stats, the people who were reading it were men, and men really enjoyed it because it was like, oh.
She real.
Because it was pretty fucking grimy, y'all. Like this was.
This game's freezing.
Oh my God. There was lots of drugs.
Yes.
Lots of blowjobs. Lots of sex. Lots of Sex in the City.
Yeah. It was 100%. It wasn't quite as sanitized as the HBO version.
So let's get into it, friends. So when we talk about the book versus the show, what are the main things that stand out to you in terms of like contrast? This is assuming that our listeners have watched Sex in the City.
I will say the characters, their closeness. Like the female friendships, because I think that's what I enjoyed about the show, and why I think I wanted to share it with you, because it was just like, wow, like
look at them.
These ladies, like they're really creating a support system for each other. There was this real sisterhood amongst them that was not in the book. Like that was something that was very much formulated for television, but it worked a lot. There are some pieces of dialogue that you hear in the book and remember from the show, but on the whole, even the story arc of Carrie and Big, and especially when you get into the movies, and you haven't watched the spinoff series yet, and just like that, it just now got good. Season 3, episode 2 was the first episode I've enjoyed. Like, genuine, not like hate watched, but like really got into it, enjoyed it. Like, they finally kind of got it.
Okay.
Also, the clothes. Because it was very much about fashion too. Because she did talk about what people had on and
how
stuff
much
that they
it
were
cost.
doing. And she, I think what I would have liked to see more in the show were like, she did a show about it. Her friend Amelita, who was like an international girlfriend or whatever, but she didn't have Ray. Ray, I would have liked to have
seen in the show.
She seemed, and I would like to know who she was in real life. Like, there's some people where I'm like, okay, who was
Amelita
this?
was?
Not Amelita, but Ray.
No, I said, do you know who she was? Oh,
Do
okay.
you?
No.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
anything.
Yeah, the only person I really looked up was the real Mr. Big. It was some dude named like Roy or Ray or something like that. Roy?
Who she didn't end up with, by the way.
No. Oh, see, that was gonna be my. That was my.
But
Spoiler.
also, but no, is it though?
Ron.
Oh, Ron Galoti.
Yeah,
But hold up though. But
'Cause-
at the end, I thought it said that they were together.
but not in real life.
But why did she say that in the book?
Well, in the book, it just ends where it ends. Like,
It was like
real life
in-
keeps going on after the book.
But like the epilogue, it was like
yeah,
and such and
Mr.
such and
Big, they're still together. When she finished
Yeah.
the book, they were, but in real life, they didn't end up
Oh,
together.
okay, got you. So
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
Well, I mean, it said that they were still together, so I thought, oh, okay.
Oh, see, you know me. I'm been like,
She said, let me find out the deets.
no, because you said her husband was that Russian dude.
Well, after what? Right, I guess. I mean, this
Yeah.
was 1996. So
Yeah, they broke up. Like that relationship.
didn't last forever.
No, it didn't, and it's interesting because in the real life, Mr. Big Ron, it did seem to matter. She didn't have the right pedigree.
Yeah, she was just a fun girl.
Yeah.
And so, how much in real life do you think it matters, right? Like, so not even just pedigrees and stuff like that. So that on top of just, I don't know, like in my mind, I'm just like, this is really kind of gross how the way that we look about or think about partnering up with people, I think is all the way fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I actually really like Michelle Obama's take on partnering with people. There is this sense of like, okay, what am I willing to, where's the negotiation in this?
Yeah.
What's actually really important? Because I think a lot of the time when it comes down to like, okay, if we're just turning each other into like, okay, well, he's got a 6-figure job and blah, blah, blah. Like,
It's a commodity.
oh my God, it ends up being so fucking gross. But I think when we reduce each other to paychecks and to numbers and what they can provide, and it just being these like boxes that we can check off, as opposed to like, who is this person in front of me?
They're
How do-
real value.
They're real, like,
Yeah.
what is actually valuable?
I think the only people who really had a happy ending were Stanford and the chick he married.
That was so cute. Let's talk about that real quick. I thought that
Okay.
was amazing because I was like, you know what?
I was like, I think that's the best I can hope for.
Okay, so tell them the scenario.
Okay, so Stanford, and I can't remember the chick's name, they've decided to basically just enter into, would that be considered a lavender marriage?
What's a lavender marriage?
That was a term, it's an LGBTQ term.
Okay, don't know
About,
it.
I think back in the day, it was just when a gay man and a lesbian married each other for appearances.
Okay.
But I think in this case, it was a gay man and a straight woman marrying each other so he could
For
get the
appearances.
inheritance. But also, it was kind of like the Bobby Fine and Bitsy Van Muffling
like,
in the
I
show,
love you,
where
though.
they're just like, no, I'm really gonna marry this person. Like,
It's like, it's giving other significant others.
yes,
Like, why
OSO,
because at a certain point in society, you are expected to be partnered up. Stanford, who had hair in the book, by the way, took me out. Long hair.
dark curly hair.
I said, oh, Stanford was bald in the, so that was interesting. But yeah, like, I mean, I actually respect it a lot.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you want to partner with somebody who is making your life easier. And then somebody you like.
They seem
to
like the
each
happiest
other. Oh my
Out of
God, I
everybody
was
who was
like-
pictured, because there was some wild stuff.
It was bad. It was real
And
bad.
I think that's why her column was popular and why this still endures, because when you write honestly about sex, which is something that Truman Capote did.
Yeah, he did.
You know what I mean? Like, that was what was interesting about his writing for those who bothered to read it. And I think for me, especially coming out of sort of the purity culture that I was raised in, like having honest conversations about sex, even though it was the TV show originally, it was the closest I was getting. Because let's talk about too, the best part of that show was Samantha. And let's talk about real life. In real life, because we talk about those chicks are good actors. Because in
They're
real
really
life, they
good.
hated each other's guts.
All of them?
Still hate each other's guts. No, I'm just talking about Samantha and Carrie.
Oh, okay. So Sarah Jessica Parker and
Kim
Kim
Cattrall.
Cattrall hated each other.
They still hate each other.
Still now. Even so, during the whole thing, they hated each other as well.
I don't know from the
Or did they
beginning, but as
grow
time
to
went
hate?
on, like Kim Cattrall had some serious ass issues with Sarah Jessica Parker.
Oh, wow.
I think some of them were financial. I think some of it was just some respect stuff. Even in the reboot, she refused to do it, but they were just kind of like, we need you. We have at least some Samantha because we are flailing. And so
Yeah.
she agreed to do one scene for $1 million.
Let's go.
And refused to be in the same room as Sarah Jessica Parker. She shot that shit from a limo.
Good for her.
Yeah. And just talked to her on the phone.
Okay, and probably didn't actually really talk. It was like, here's my lines, and then y'all edit it to make it.
And she was, but so Sam really did. I think that's why, and just like that, is struggling
because she's not in it.
Yeah, and they tried to replace her with this Indian woman named Seema. Who's cool, but it's not Samantha.
But it's like
they're not giving her character the love she deserves either. Like the stories are writing for her. This last one was interesting because they finally put her up with a matchmaker, and I was like, okay, that's what would probably really happen because she's a rich bitch. Okay, so
listen, I can afford some help.
Yeah, and it's played by Sherry O'Terry.
Cute.
Yeah, it's really funny. So I was like, okay, I'm into this. But before the little romantic stuff they were giving her, it was just like. It's clear that y'all don't really care about a colored girl.
Well, no, they don't. And so that's the other part about the diversity in that particular universe. It's like it wasn't gonna happen anyway. And you want it to feel authentic if it were gonna be something. So I'd rather, even with friends and other things, it's like I don't want to see it when you're just like forcing it in.
And when you also don't have any black writers in the writer's room. Like, it's okay, because it's very obvious and uncomfortable when you have black actors saying stuff that rich white writers wrote for them.
Mm-hmm. Not to along say with the terrible hairstyle to match.
Them wigs. But and I'm not to say that there aren't like talented white writers like Neil. I would perform something he wrote, Neil Brennan, or
the people are capable. It's just it takes a certain.
But you have to be around them.
Yeah, like you have to have actually interacted with them and know and care to be
part of the
thoughtful
culture.
About that.
Yeah, not just like, can you blacken it up?
Right. It's like, so are you gonna do like a snap or anything? Are we gonna be able to see you?
I think that's
Okay, that's fair. So when it comes to Carrie's character in the book versus Carrie's character in the actual HBO series, how do you feel? Like,
the Carrie in the book was way more of a bitch.
She was, and she was a straight up alcoholic.
Well,
they said that.
I mean, I feel like you could say the Carrie on the show was too.
Oh yeah, she was too.
I wouldn't.
But they just said it explicitly. They said it explicitly, like she is an alcoholic and she's a bitch. They said both of those things pretty much straight up.
Yeah. Because they have that conversation about having sex like a man. It's like, but you have to be a real bitch, and everyone starts laughing. And she's like, what? And I'm like, bitch, you're a bitch.
The fuck?
For real. And that's the thing too, where similar to Truman Capote, where you got into this upper echelon of white rich New York, even though you came from, but you were entertaining. Like, because as Truman pointed out, like these people are bored to death.
AF.
They are boring and they are bored. And so they every once in a while they'll pull someone up just to be their sort of entertainment monkey, but you're also constantly reminded you're not one of you're
us.
Not like us.
Yeah, you're not of us. Yes. Because
that was my biggest thing, was like the Carrie in the book was way, but like I said, but she's reined it all in when it came to Mr. Big. Like when it came to Mr. Big, she stopped drinking. And she started being more agreeable because she's like, I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be this person for this guy because that's the thing that sucks.
That you want to be this bitch for this guy. You can't be it for yourself, your family, your kids, not Shannon kids, but whoever you are out there not being shit when you should be.
You're right, but when you're like,
guy.
my man.
But be it for your mama.
But at the same time, as someone who's been gone off love before, it's like, okay, I've been there, so I get it. But at the same time, it's always disappointing to see. Like, it's
damn
like,
it.
Because at the end of the day, a lot of the advice she was given is like, you can't give in to these dudes. You got to be able to walk away. It was a lot of pimping. Like a lot of times they were giving you the game, which is like at the moments in, you got to be ready to walk away. You can't just be like, well, I just went ahead and just did whatever Bill said because I want him to be. And it's like, and he's just gonna keep playing you. No, you got to be able to like, because one of the phrases that was constantly repeated was, I don't think so. That kept coming up. I don't think so.
This ain't going. This ain't it.
That was the blackest thing in the book.
Yeah, because it was pretty. I mean, there was lots of coke, lots of pot, lots of alcohol. These people were abusing drugs left and right.
Zooted.
And I was thinking, like, man, must be nice to be able to just, float around and.
Well, here's the other thing, because I wonder how much. I don't think she necessarily has a ton of imagination, because all of her books are about New Yorkers for the most part. Like
that's all she knows, clearly. So.
Well, write what you know.
Yeah.
And they're entertaining. They are very entertaining books. And there's the similar themes of these very ambitious women.
White.
Yes. But
Women.
you still find a lot of the same stuff that you see on reality shows.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
very catty.
That's
These
what I'm
hoes didn't
saying.
like each other.
Not
I
even
mean,
a
that
little.
was the thing that was really different to me, was that, like you pointed out before, when you watch the show, you're really drawn in by, like, the friendship and the camaraderie and all that kind of stuff. In the book, there was none of that. And I mean, it was very catty, and you don't get a sense of who they are. So I feel like the character development was definitely, obviously, I feel like it's silly to say it, because it's like, obviously, when you have a nonfiction work that's just like articles that you're taking from conversations versus like a polished HBO fictional sort of series that's created, like you can do character development. But that was just really big, because that was like a giant draw to the show. Just kind of like the ladies being fabulous and having their lunches and brunches together, and then each of them having their own like relationship issues and
well, even when she
working
talked
through
about
them.
the real Samantha Jones.
Yeah.
And she was just like, Samantha Jones was Carrie's best friend sometimes.
period. Yeah.
That was the line.
It was very catty.
like, ooh.
Yeah. And because everything seems so competitive, because again, I think it was just the climate of dating in New York feels like fucking rock climbing or something, like,
Well,
competitive
can we say
rock climbing, like
everywhere,
kicking
though?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, so
Maybe.
let me just let you know.
Jesus Christ, I don't
Sorry,
know.
Moni, let me cut in here. Like, Miss, I've been married forever. No, dating, this game is freezing.
So competitive.
In Indiana.
What the
So, and no matter where you go, there you are.
Wow.
So, but I think the most important lesson is you have to love yourself first. Have that sense of value in yourself, and everything else. Like I said, you have to be ready to walk away as soon as you see where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
And it's not to say everything's gonna be perfect, but really once you see someone
Deal
disrespect
breakers,
you,
though.
like,
come on, man.
There's
certain shit that is like, I don't care what day of the week, what year, I don't care what you. No, we're not doing that.
Oh yeah, there was this one dude. He got a blowjob from a girl, wouldn't even take her home.
Yeah, he was like, oh, I
You live in the opposite direction.
I have to.
I was like,
That's what I'll be doing.
that is cold as
Ladies, don't just be out here doing that.
as fuck. Like, really? Like, you,
How embarrassing.
and you don't even have nothing to do tomorrow because you ain't got no job.
How embarrassing. I can't.
And she still kept messing with him. Like, she was still like following that dude around, just like, oh, it's so pretty.
It would have been nice to see some of those ancillary characters that were in the book on the show too, though. Like, but I think, to be honest, though, like, for them to take the book and make it into what they made it into, I'm impressed.
Yeah,
Because in a lot of ways, I feel like.
because it would have been too depressing.
I was just gonna say, like, at least the series gave you something. Like, reading the columns was like, I'm depressed. Humanity's fucked. People are terrible, and there is no upside to dating because.
Well, but
what
do you
the
think
fuck?
that's? But I think where the problem seeps in is because someone like me, I'm very aware that this is a fantasy, right? So that's why I wanted to read the book, because I'm like, okay, what was the real? And I'm curious about that. But a lot of people go into it just thinking like,
want the fantasy.
oh, that could be my Mr. Big, and he'll come to me in Paris and be like, you're the one, and it'll be wonderful, and we'll move into a penthouse, and I'll never have any more financial problems, and it'll be wonderful forever. And it's like, no,
girl.
It's like, wake up, bitch. Like, you can't.
Right. Yeah, nah.
No. Learn to type.
Learn to type. Be good at your job. Make
Yeah.
sure you're quick on your toes. You
Yes.
can
Create some
Pivot.
value for yourself. because one of her books, I can't remember which one it was, but I don't know if she was talking about her or somebody else who it happened to. But she was writing about a writer who had gotten like $1 million advance, and her little tacky husband used up all that money.
Of course.
And left her destitute, and of course was messing around with everybody.
Ain't no way.
I think it's important to have an escape. You know, like to me, that's what Sex and the City was. The HBO show was an escape. But you have to know, like, when that show goes off in 30 minutes, you're coming back to reality. So have a soft place to land.
Please, for yourself.
For yourself and others. Because a lot of times it would be very rude. Like the way that
and also too, because she was who she was, I think, you know, she had younger people coming up after who admired her. So they kind of depicted like these younger girls being like obsessed with her and her being like super rude to them though. And then being like, oh my God, Carrie.
And she's just,
I mean, she was a mess. Carrie was a fucking mess.
And let's talk about it too, because she recently wrote a book called "Is There Still Sex in the City?"
Is there? Have you read it?
I did read it.
Is there still sex in the city?
I mean, there's still sex, but there's not really a lot of dating prospects because now you're even older, so your dating pool's even smaller, and now you got to deal with these apps. So it was mostly about her trying to get back into the dating market after her divorce and navigating that dating sphere. Also still very bleak. And like I said, there's just all these women having, I think my two favorite scenes in the book involved Ray. So that's why I was saying I wish Ray was in the show. She was kind of lightweight in the show. Remember that chick fell out the window? I think the episode was called Splat. I think that was the closest we got to Ray.
Okay.
But Ray in the book, her and Amelita were like frenemies.
Yeah, because she kind of had a southern accent. Is that the one? Yeah.
And she came over to Carrie and Amelita at the restaurant. She's like, well, I'm waiting on somebody. But, you know, they were basically, Amelita and Ray were trying to.
We're in the same game, basically.
They were in the same game, which is like they were just professional bad bitches.
But Amelita, too, you know, like, I don't know how they ended her off in the series because it's been a minute since I've seen the series.
It was
like,
she was in one episode.
This bitch, I mean, she ended up by herself. You know, some Japanese businessman was supposed to be paying for her apartment, didn't. She had a kid, but you know, she had a child who she could barely take care of herself, and it was like,
it was grind.
It's not fabulous.
Well, she did end up on top though. She started her own consulting agency at the end.
Well, that's good.
And had like a bunch of employees and stuff. Like she came out. Amelita got it together.
Okay, good.
But once again, working for herself.
Period.
Like generating the money herself, but relying on men, that's a very dangerous game.
It just is. I mean, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with aspiring to have a partner who has financial security, all those kinds of things. Yes, like, clearly I don't want a broke nigga.
No.
Whatever, but I think it's equally as important to have somebody with ambition, somebody with dreams, like somebody who you can, even if they're not working at their fullest potential, but you see that they are putting in the work toward the thing. Like that's
and somebody who can fall and get back up too.
Yes,
like who has that ambition,
resilience. Baby. You're not just offing yourself when you've decided to be fraudulent. And you know, I feel like I was just watching what is it, The White Lotus? Do you watch that? We gonna have to talk about this.
I watched the first one. I haven't, so maybe that could be the next episode.
White Lotus is so good.
Okay, because I've actually been waiting for an excuse to watch the set. Which season are you on?
3.
Okay, so I would be willing to get caught up if you want to talk about that next week.
It would be amazing.
Okay.
But like, you know, so then I won't say this, but I'm just saying, like, you know, there's a thing where it's like you get so successful in business and to become successful, you start maybe doing things that aren't on the up and up.
Yeah.
And because
capitalism's marketing
demands
is a pyramid scheme.
It demands it, right?
Yeah. If you didn't inherit that money, you got to kind of grind. I mean, to get excessive
to pull yourself up from your bootstraps, as it were. It's like, dude.
Because the other thing it reminded me of, I don't think we talked about it on the show. I think I just wouldn't shut up about it. Gilded Age on HBO.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I started watching it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Similar, where you're dealing with New York and social, like rich New York. I mean, the game, the only thing that changes is the weather.
So true.
It's that same thing of like, you have to be so savvy. Especially,
and it's a job.
It's a whole job. Being a socialite.
I think my natural state of being is like, that repels me though.
It's probably the fakeness of it all.
Because if you think I'm about to try this hard for you to like me, or for me to, I ain't gonna be able to do it. I done ran out of steam.
How do you do?
Don't care.
How do you do? Like, yeah, there's all these little games.
It's too much, and I'm tired.
Because even Mr. Big, that was his test for Carrie when he or not Carrie for Carrie in the whatever in the book. We're talking about the book now. When Mr. Big was like, "Where did you go to school?" That was
I don't know where. I never heard of that before. Yeah.
And she just gave the name of her high school, and he was just like, "Okay, this bitch, you're supposed to say Smith." Like, or Brown.
That ain't it.
Or like
something.
like you. He's like, okay, you don't know. You just if you don't know, you don't know. But there's all these little things that were just like, oh, is she our kind of people? Like that affluence of it all, and affluenza.
And what was that from?
That dude who they were trying to get him off for some crime, saying that he didn't realize how bad he was because he grew up so sheltered and privileged.
It's like
so
everybody here is crazy.
Affluenza. So it's not, he should get off because, he has affluenza.
But also, then why doesn't it go in reverse for people who are like, you know what I'm saying? For poor folks who are like, we didn't have bread.
Literally,
we were starving.
Literally couldn't develop that part of my brain because I didn't have enough calories.
Right. And also post-traumatic stress syndrome because I live in a war zone.
Yeah.
With zero education.
Yeah, so yeah, to me that's something that stuck out quite a bit. Like just that constant hustle and what it takes. And she writes a little bit more about that. Like I said, like, is there still sex in the city? Because she's still talking about how her divorce was really expensive. Like basically, like, and so that's kind of like, that's why I'm writing books.
Yeah,
because I gotta make some money.
And pop that coochie.
Because the one thing that was very interesting to me was like, I'm not willing to live like a civilian again. Like that's the thing about the high life; it's addictive. Like you don't want to have that step down. And I've read other books by affluent New Yorkers and stuff like that.
I can get that though, and I'd actually see and to my point, like I'd rather not get to that point where I delude myself so hard or get into a space where it's like, man, I could never. Like I just wanna, like I don't, it's almost like this is sad. I feel like what I'm gonna say is sad. Okay. But it's almost like why people don't take vacations. Because it's like you go on vacation and you enjoy it so much and you realize how much happier your life could be. Because you're not like working all the goddamn time. And then you go back to work and you're like,
oh, see, I'm the opposite.
I've been doing this all this time. No, I mean, I enjoy my vacations, but I'm just saying like,
I'm usually ready to come home.
What?
I'm usually ready to come home.
But see, you like your job though.
I do like my job.
You work for yourself.
And I like work, and I like being at home. Like hotel rooms are so cold.
But even if it's not a hotel room, like and when I say vacation, you don't have to necessarily go anywhere to be on vacation. You could just be at home. You could just be painting, planting flowers, whatever the fuck you do in your free time. It don't matter. I'm saying like
I do like those things.
When you have to when you realize that like the only way for me to keep the things that I can do when I'm like relaxing up and going is when I go and have to produce for myself. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And especially if the toiling of it isn't something you enjoy. But also too, that's why I don't want to depend on anybody for that part of my life either though. Like I'd prefer to just toil and produce what I can produce for myself as opposed to having to contort into being somebody that I'm not or trying to present something. Like that's a full-time job. I'm tired already.
Well,
like this shit seems exhausting.
You weren't allowed to be tired though. Because that was just like when we read Sex with Kings. Book you didn't really care for, but to me had a lot of parallels to this, which is if you want to be in the great game, the price of success is constant vigilance. So even if you get that top position, it's like, yeah, I nailed the king. Guess what? All the bitches are coming for your spot.
Oh my
it's
God.
like, so have fun with that. And so it's this, the game is the game.
The game is the game. But game insinuates that it's fun or something. It's not though. It seems terrible.
Yeah.
Is it fun?
Well, there are games and there's the game.
Right. Oh.
Because this is I mean,
the game.
and that's why it's so important to have like sex right in the title, because this is the
sex
game.
game.
Because
Ooh.
everything's about sex except sex, which is about power.
Ooh.
So this isn't my quote. I got that. It's a famous
That's a
quote.
good one.
Yeah, I forget where it's from, but yeah, I didn't come up with that. But it tends to be true, and especially when you have these really intense environments and competitive environments like New York. Because I mean, we've been in New York. It is bring money.
There's some bad bitches there.
Yeah, exactly. But it's, and also shout out to all the bad bitches. That's how we got hip hop. You know what I mean? Like if they weren't trying so hard to impress these bitches, we never would have got hip hop. So
we wouldn't have a lot of stuff.
We wouldn't have
trying
a lot
to,
of, we would have electricity.
We would
like,
listen. It's like, oh.
It's like, but once again, like sex is that primary motivator. Like I said, we don't get sex education for real. And I think that, at least where we are, like other countries where they have good stuff, they do sex education.
Indiana, they don't do it so good here.
They do not want to teach you, because it's empowering. Like once you understand, it's like, oh, I don't have to have sex unless I want to. Oh, when I have sex, I want it to be good. Like,
or I can protect myself.
And I can protect myself, and I don't have to reproduce every time I have sex.
No,
I can,
sure don't.
Yeah, it's like these are very empowering things that are trying to be chipped away at, where it's like, no, as it turns out, you're only allowed this little sliver of sexuality. And it's like, no. Technically, I can take whatever slice of the pie I want and leave the rest, if I so choose. So
that's what was nice about the Samantha character. Yes. I do feel like
in the show,
you know, not that, I mean, in the book she just seemed mean. I mean, it was almost like they were frenemies, her and Carrie. Yeah, it's like, are y'all actually
But
friends?
She did try to put her on game about Big.
She did. Now that's the one thing that I felt like, but also too, you know, when you're, well, yes. It's hard, you know, like if you see, you know, this nigga ain't shit and you trying to say it. It's like that doesn't go anywhere.
It's like,
but
I'm having orgasms.
I know, a lot of them. It's like, I get it. It's amazing or whatever.
He's like, but he's not giving me orgasms, so I can see this is
right. It's like, so for me, I just have the facts here.
Just negative. It's all bad. And I saw him going out with somebody else yesterday. Yeah. And he doesn't see it for you.
Right. And the dizziness, it would be like if you were really accepting the actual situation, that'd be different. But you're delusional about what this is on top of it. You know what I'm saying? You're creating this scenario where you're like his girlfriend. Bitch, no, you're not. You're getting, right. Everybody's getting off on Big right now. Okay, so I love that.
What did you think of, because one thing that definitely wasn't in the book was Aiden, who was a huge part of the show. And I always really hated that storyline of how she did Aiden. Like basically the Aiden, Carrie, Big love triangle always irritated me to no end. Especially, do you remember that episode where she invited like Big to Aiden's cabin after the affair? You don't remember that?
Not exactly.
Okay, let me refresh your memory. So you do remember her like sleeping with Big all over Manhattan while she was dating Aiden. Okay, you remember that part. And then she told him on the day of Charlotte's wedding.
Oh God, no.
She was like, Aiden, I slept with my ex, and I mean, I've been feeling terrible about it, and can it just be like the flaw that makes us stronger? And
no. I'm gonna tell you right now, the flaw that makes you stronger can't be that you fucked another guy. Guys don't like that.
Several times.
They don't like that.
Several times. Because remember, she got caught. Natasha caught her because Big was married at the time. Yes. And Natasha was running after her and broke her tooth and everything.
I forgot about all this.
Yeah. Okay. And so
good show. Y'all should go back and watch it if you haven't watched Sex and the City.
Okay, so the next season, when Miranda ends up helping Steve because he gets testicular cancer,
have to remove a ball.
Yes, and then Carrie was like, "Well, I think I want to get back with Aiden," and Miranda was like, "What a terrible idea! Like, why would you do that?"
First of all, he's too good for you.
So,
and I don't even want to. And as a friend, I'm just saying, like, well, please leave him alone.
Right?
Like we complain about dudes being the worst. And then Aiden's like this example of somebody who's like really trying to come in and
He's like a real life Doug Christie. Or no, Doug Christie's like a real life Aiden.
He's so nice. He cares so much. And then here you are being fucking terrible.
Doing your floors.
This is the reason why he built you a closet, bitch. He built you.
Well, no, Aiden didn't build a closet. He built you a closet. He did her floors.
Whatever.
And bought her apartment.
He did something.
But that was the second time. That was the second time they were together. The first time they were together, he redid her floors, and that's when she went off and slept with Big.
She didn't deserve him.
Because she was like, it's too loud in here. I'm going to go work at the hotel. It's like, what? And so, because you could just go to Starbucks. But okay, fine.
Or
you
your
need a hotel room. Just tell them that if anyone calls, I'm at the Standard. Fine. So then Big, he's like, he's like, I'm not happy in my marriage, Carrie. I need you, blah, 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 blah. And so they start doing it all over Manhattan. And then finally she admits to Aiden what's going on. And he breaks up with her like he should. And then they just go off, whatever. And then when she comes back around, she's like, come on, let's give it another try. I miss you so much, and you have to forgive me.
No, I don't.
And so he does. He gives her another chance. He's like, girl, I'm going to buy your apartment next door. Because she's like, my building's going co-op. I can't afford to buy my apartment because I spent all my money on shoes. Like, she finally did the math and realized she spent $40,000 on shoes. And Miranda was like, there's your down payment. Oh, yeah, because this is when Miranda was praying with Brady. And
I'm still supposed to be your friend on the side. Like, at some point, I got to tell you, like, you're being the worst.
Girl, but no, Miranda's like, I can loan you half of it. And Samantha was like, I can loan you the other half. And then she was on Charlotte. I got to send you this episode. I'm surprised you can't remember because you would have been pissed.
I'm pissed now.
Because this was also, okay, because the timeline, because, you know, she told Aiden what happened when the day Charlotte was getting married.
Okay.
So then, but you know, Charlotte was only married to, what's his name, Trey for a hot minute.
Yeah.
And so when they're getting divorced. Get it up, guys. Well, no, he was eventually able to get it up, but then they couldn't get pregnant. He was like, I don't really want kids like that. And she was like, well, I do. And your mama's getting on my nerves. So,
okay.
But then she's hitting Charlotte up like, you have all this money and you can't give me none. And it was like, girl. And Charlotte was like, Carrie, I love you, but it's not my job to fix your finances. And I was like, yeah, she's making some very good points.
To that.
But then at the end of the episode, she ends up giving Carrie her wedding ring from Trey
should've did that.
to sell for her.
No.
Even though,
even
you're right. This is nothing.
It's for the show.
No, Big offered her the money for the down payment.
Why didn't she take it?
Thank you for all that bullshit he put you through. Like, that's the least he could do. No, she was just like, she tears up the check from Big and then takes the ring from Charlotte and then uses it to buy her apartment.
I would have took the ring from Charlotte and put that in my bank account. Then
I would not take.
I'm just saying, if you were gonna take it, I wouldn't have taken it either, and I actually wouldn't have offered it. Charlotte shouldn't have offered it.
I don't think so either. And she's like, just pay me back. And as far as we know, she never paid her back.
But in the book, that's not how it went.
No. Well, in the book, no. There's no aid and there's no nothing. You know, they had to expand because the book wasn't even that long.
No.
But like, yes, that was, oh man, we might need to rewatch that season. That was a good season.
I need to rewatch all of it. It's been years since I've seen Sex in the City.
It's a
you
comfort
put it in the
watch.
Yeah,
I put it in the background. But actually, what I've been doing lately is putting the reviews for the young girls who are just now watching it in the background and listening to their take on Carrie because they are deeply.
Tell me about it.
They are dragging Carrie.
So what's the?
Well, for one, how she treated Aiden, how she treated her friends. Like, they have whole things about how Carrie was just a narcissist.
She's the worst.
Yeah, and basically, do you remember when she dated Burger?
Yeah,
and stuff like that. And they were like, that was basically the female Carrie. Like, she got all mad when he dumped her on with the post-it note and stuff like that. It was like, girl, he did you better than you did Aiden. It's like, at least he was honest, you know? It was a whole thing. So, yeah, but it's funny because even when I was watching it back then, I didn't really care for how Carrie moved, but I really liked the clothes.
The fashion, the shoes.
You can get away with so much if you're dressed well. Guys,
it's kind of true.
It's like having a superpower. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate that human beings are that shallow, but we just are.
Well, and I mean, to the point of this whole book, because that's really what it came down to, though. Like, a lot of the dating stuff was very much, I mean, I was trying to wait for the one substantive relationship that was like, oh, well, that's aspirational. No, all of it was very much clout seeking, very much.
Well, Stanford at the end.
Right. But and that's, see, and we've talked about this before. This is why I think I really enjoyed The Other Significant Other, because at the end of the day, I think we delude ourselves in the way that we think about romantic relationships and what's truly important in them, because it's not a fucking fairy tale. It's real life. And so when you're thinking about, okay, if I'm literally going to sign a legal contract and document saying that like I'm partnering up with somebody, it can't just be because you know what I mean? It can't just be because of a sexual thing or even a physical attraction. Like, that is important. You want to have that. But think about it. When you're 76 years old, are you really, it can't be the cornerstone. Like, I'm saying, like, you do have to be able to get it while this getting is good, right? Like, it's super important to tap into that while you have access to all of those things. But I'm just saying, like, longevity wise, you know, when we reduce each other down to paychecks and what you can produce in terms of like
high value,
all of that dumb shit. It's like, man, listen, who's gonna show up for you though? I just told my husband the other day, like, you know, as much as we get on each other's nerves, for me, a sense of humor. We have to be able to make each other laugh. We can't take you can't take yourself so seriously, but also you have to be able to feel like the person who you partner with shows up for you. Money comes and goes, you know what I'm saying? Like, we could be poor, extra poor tomorrow, but we could be rich tomorrow. So like that kind of stuff is always going to be on a scale. But do I respect you? Do I like you? You know, that's what a lot of this New York bullshit felt like. It was like, you know, this is for, you know,
appearances.
That's all it was. And it's like,
Oh, remember that one chick who couldn't even handle taking her child to the park?
My God, you know, that's not the kind of life I want.
Yeah, because she was so used to just the nanny doing everything.
Bitch,
and
what?
It was like, so you can't even take your child to the park?
You're stressed.
Yeah.
This is
it's
a different kind of life.
It's funny too, because I think a funny take on this sort of lifestyle was Jacqueline Voorhees from Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Oh, very good. I started watching that with my son. He's obsessed now.
It's such a good show.
He's obsessed. He's like, can we watch the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt now? Because, yeah, she's a mess. Because that was Jenna from 30 Rock. Yeah.
30 Rock also a very New York show where it kind of get, and it's.
But the thing is like, you can't imagine that this is actually real because it feels like a caricature, but it's like,
nah, for real though.
This is based on.
She was like, yeah, I just got back from the, what did she call it? Her plastic gynecologist, like her plastic, like it was
a whole right, just for my coochie. We just have a whole
She's like,
situation.
I have to keep my feet above my vagina for the next 24 hours.
Right. Oh my God. It's like, wait, what? And then you've got, you know, like the relationship with your kids and how.
Because she was putting her son on discipline. Did you get that part yet?
No.
Where she was like, oh my God, I can't afford a nanny anymore. I got to watch my kid. So she was like, let me get him on drugs. No. And the drug was called discipline.
No.
I'm sorry, I'm into spoilers now.
No.
I freaking love that show. And it's great because similar to Steven Universe, it's a show about healing from PTSD.
Yeah. Traumatic event.
Yeah. And was like, we get it. You were in a bunker.
Yeah, because she was with a cult or something. That would be a good show review, too. That was pretty good.
Pretty.
We may have to talk about it.
You talk about, because that's one of my comfort shows, too. I love me some Kimmy Schmidt, man.
Kimmy Schmidt's a good show. We are on the part where she got divorced. Like, that's the thing, too. She just got divorced from the husband.
Gary Wayne.
And she was, like, embarrassed that she was only getting, like, $12 million.
Oh, no, Jacqueline Voorhees.
Yeah,
when she was divorcing him, and she was like, oh, it's peanuts. And
$12 million.
She was like, $12 million.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. She was like, oh.
And then goes and spends $11 million at the auction to not look poor.
And she was like, yes, I'm going to punch Deidre in her white mouth.
What?
Because that was her version of a bunker punch. Like,
yeah.
And then Stanford
Which
was
is fine.
like,
He should have just accepted it. Like, clearly you're come on.
yeah, you're dipping both toes
Why does
in.
everybody
Think I'm gay? And Skipper was like, "Oh, honey, you're still pretending to be gay or straight."
Straight.
It was like,
Bless your little
okay,
heart. Mm-hmm. Some of the guys, they like that though.
yeah.
They like the chase or whatever.
Oh yeah, because one of the guys she described in the book, he only liked straight
guys.
dudes.
It was
Yeah.
Stanford.
It was Stanford. Okay,
Yeah.
that tracks.
Yeah. He was I like him. He wanted to chase a little bit. Cat and mouse situation. That's why he liked the bone.
Oh, the bone.
The bone.
And see, he was in the show.
He was the guy
only
that
one that-
Samantha dated, right? Is that
No.
who was the bone?
That was Smith.
Okay, who was the bone?
The bone was like in season 1 or 2. That was Stanford's client. And like he and I think he was only in one episode, and he and Carrie like spent the night together but didn't sleep together.
Okay,
Like he was
okay.
just like, yeah.
Okay, well, there you have it.
But yeah, in the book though, he beat Stanford's ass. Though.
Yeah, that was good.
That
was
was funny.
Yeah, he
that
pushed
was
him down
funny
the
to pick.
steps.
Okay, so can we take a break? And I'm gonna tell you my favorite part of the book.
Yeah, let's take
Okay.
a break. Let's come right back, you guys. We'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back from the break. Man, Sex in the City, you know?
Wow. Listen, entertaining.
Definitely entertaining. Definitely
Yes,
entertaining.
it's definitely. Would we say an American classic?
I mean, definitely classic because, you know, for me, I think it was nice getting back to the source material because of the contrast, right? Like, you know, a lot of what people like about Sex in the City isn't even actually in the book.
Right.
So I think that is an interesting sort of
Yes.
juxtaposition in terms of just like, okay, what were these articles that she first started writing about? What were they actually about? And then like how you take that and fictionalize it and turn it into what people consume. And so the difference between what we really think our lives should be versus what they actually are is maybe the real conversation to me that is super interesting. Because yeah, y'all,
Mr. Big in
Come
real
on
life
now.
does not marry Carrie.
no,
Didn't even think about it.
no,
Didn't even come close.
no, not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. She ended up marrying Alexander Petrovsky character, and even they got divorced.
And now she's trying to figure out, is there still sex in the city?
Yeah.
Girl,
so
it's always
that's-
sex everywhere all the time.
That's what happened to Carrie.
Yeah, so.
And I mean, but she's still here. To me, Candace
Mm-hmm.
Bushnell still. It's not like, oh, poor Candace Bushnell. She seems.
No,
she
she's doing
alright.
all right. She's doing
alright.
great. Okay. Yeah,
Oh, here's what I wanted to say too. Both in the book and the show, a lot of fat shaming. Like,
Oh, God, yeah.
you
A
gotta
little
remember
chubby.
in the 90s,
it was brutal.
Yeah, like don't try to be like a size 12 was plus size.
10.
Yeah.
10. Because that one guy who was like, which is interesting too, because he was like everybody had dated this guy. Mm-hmm. He's very sweet and attentive, and then like he kind of went after women who were like newly out of relationships and stuff like that. But at a certain point, he'd get mean, and I think he had made a comment to one of the girls he was dating. He was, I don't know, she might have been a size 10, and she was like, yeah, something about that. And he was like, no, honey, you're definitely like at least a size 10. Like basically size shaming her, making her feel like she wasn't. And then mind you, this dude. You're nobody's, like
You're not a prize either.
Nah.
And here's the other thing.
Come on.
In real life, Michael Patrick King, apparently he like told Mr. Big and Aiden when they were like doing the like bringing them back and stuff like that, like you need to lose weight. Like in real life. So apparently he doesn't really see it for like,
full-figured folks.
yeah, like to be cute, you have to be. But that was
That's
listen,
very New York.
We brought up Coco Chanel. She said that you can never be too rich or too thin. Like in that circles.
That's a very, I do think that is an extremely European sort of value. I don't think that we get that in our culture so much, is that you need to be thin.
Well, I think back then we did.
Black folks?
I mean, did you watch Girlfriends? Like the
I'm talking about
90s.
in my actual
Well,
life.
like in real life, no. But I'm just talking about the media. Our media diet was kind of feeding us.
But
like,
because
don't
that's
get too
through a
big.
lens of a whiteness, though.
It is. Right. Kelsey Grammer did produce.
Yeah, like
Girlfriends.
ultimately, right. It wasn't like, it's still very much, when you're in Hollywood, yes, you have to adhere to these certain standards, but in our real lives, we don't get that. I never.
And
got
I would
that.
say both were very funny.
Yeah.
Like the show and the book, very funny. Because
some
human
funny
beings
stuff.
are ridiculous.
And
all right,
terrible,
okay, my thing's about to die. So let me read my favorite scene real quick.
Okay,
So this is when Mr. Big and Carrie were vacationing in Aspen. How fabulous!
Of course. Wow.
The girl came over and practically sat in Mr. Big's lap. They were both laughing about something. Carrie didn't turn around. Then someone said to Mr. Big, "How long have you two known each other?" I don't know. How long?" the girl said to Mr. Big. "Maybe 2 years," Mr. Big said. "We bonded at La Palace in Paris," said the girl. The girl said. Carrie turned. She smiled. "Hello, Ray," she said. "What did you do? Give him one of your famous blowjobs in the corner?" There was a moment of shocked silence, and then everyone began laughing hysterically except Ray. "What are you talking about? What do you mean?" she went on in her stupid accent. "It's a joke," Carrie said. "Don't you get it? If that's your idea of humor, honey, it's not funny." "Really?" Carrie said. "So sorry. Everyone else seemed to think it was hysterical. Now, if you don't mind removing yourself from my boyfriend's lap, I'll get back to my conversation."
I remember that. Wow. So if you'll get your
Bitch.
big hoe ass off his lap, okay.
I really liked Carrie in that moment.
Wow, Ray.
But for real, though.
Get your ass up.
Right.
Like, what are you even doing?
And it's even funnier within the context of the last scene with Ray. Like when they were when she and her and Amelita were at the restaurant and Ray just kept,
yes,
like that
yes,
give it because
yes,
they were like,
yes.
"Oh, Ray's back." Okay. It's like, oh, this hoe.
She out here getting it.
Listen,
She's trying to get
the
how
world
she lives,
is filled
man.
with pimps and hoes. No matter what you do, no matter where you go.
Wow, that's so artful and beautiful, friend.
Thank you.
Yeah, it just makes you think about how cutthroat it is too, though. But I mean, in an ideal world, you just don't. The commodification of partnering up with somebody shouldn't just be how much money you got, how much. I mean, I get it. Like those things. It's seductive, but like.
At the end of the day, though, it's not substantial.
It's
not enough.
It doesn't sustain you,
Yeah.
man. Like these fucking people were miserable. All of them had money. And then when you, in real life, you're a single mom in a $500 apartment in New York City, that's run down. And
at the end of the day, because Carrie even talked about going there, she's like, I ain't trying to go back.
Right. You borrow money for a couple slices of pizza in this
Right.
bitch because all of your,
I remember the first time I read it, that really
on.
stuck out to me.
It's
where I
like,
was
what
like,
the
man, just a
fuck?
minute ago, you was putting a bunch of lingerie in storage and now you living in the, okay.
Because it's contingent upon somebody else's. So, it was a takeaway for some shit I already knew is develop yourself. Make sure you can take care of yourself. I think your relationship should be icing on the cake.
Yeah.
I think that, when you partner up with people, I don't know, like I'm picturing I'm trying to come up with a nerd reference where, I don't know, Transformers type shit where you
or Batman
come together. Sure, you know what I mean?
Or Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy.
Where you're just, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Okay. These are just great duos.
I'm like, Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy were together. Right. Okay, bye. Yeah. So anywho, all I'm saying is, right, guys, is that it should be more than just that. We shouldn't be looking at each other as just, I can come up off of this person or whatever. Like there should be some affection. There should be some sort of like, because at the end of the day, the money's not going to be enough. Sometimes love isn't even fucking enough.
It's not.
It's just not. And I mean, for anybody who knows,
a lot of it has to be like, would you trust this person with like having your power of attorney if you end up in the hospital?
If I was right out of my mind right now, do I trust that this person would be doing what they know
would
that
they do what's best for me? Would they?
I don't
would
know.
you? It's like, I don't know, but he's so cute.
Especially if it's money. But you're not even cute when you're like that. Now I'm drooling to the
just talking
side.
about when you're making the decision. You're like, I don't know if he's gonna do that out, but right now we're so cute.
Exactly.
Like,
it's a distraction.
my. But like, yeah, it's I don't have the answers, but
I don't either. But it ain't that.
But keep reading because that'll give you a little game.
Yeah, it was definitely enlightening.
And also read the real stuff. Like find out the real stories and not just these Hollywood manufactured, like Breakfast at Tiffany's. Like you should know, and the real story, like that was based on real people in real life. Holly Golightly and Paul Varjak did not end up together.
Nah.
She ended up like going to Africa or something like that.
Somewhere. She
yeah,
went with
like
him.
she wasn't studying him. Like she was just some broad who lived in his building.
Nope. Getting it how she lived.
Getting it how she lived and got played too.
And got played, as most of us do.
Yep, she thought she had secured her one, and he was like, "Oh, baby,
actually, here's a letter.
Sorry you got locked up. I'm going back to Argentina.
Sorry you might be pregnant or something. Was she pregnant?
Yeah, good luck with your baby.
Yeah, bye now.
Your baby, boo boo.
Right.
And she had to induce an abortion.
So
yeah,
don't do that, guys.
Don't do that.
Just
strap up. And don't use a baby as your ticket out of poverty. That is such a children are a deficit.
Right. And then, oh my God, and they're people.
And they're people. Like,
hate to break that to you. They're gonna remember as well.
Yeah,
so.
have children because you want to have children, not because you're trying to keep a partner. And that's the same thing with partners. Like, partner up because it's somebody who you really feel like you respect and you can build with. So like if they're not at the pinnacle of their wealth, you still respect them as a person and still enjoy them. So because life is short, guys, and it's not just about money. So wait, what is life about?
I think life is about experiences.
Oh.
To me. And it's about finding joy in stuff that's mundane. Because like you said, parenting is all the shit you do when you're not like traveling, doing all that. Yeah. Such is life, such are relationships. And find the joy in it, man. Like, because that's mostly what we're doing, right?
For sure.
It's not the Instagram shit that you're posting, making everybody think is, oh, we're out here, it's like, nah, it's, nigga,
it's like, come help me dry these dishes.
Man, right. Okay? And I'm sick of it.
And someone who's gonna, like, been like, all right,
babe. Yeah, like, let me help take this load off of you because life is hard. You know what I mean? So, let's rate the book, friends.
Oh, okay. As far as books go, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 Manolos.
Ooh.
Because shoes should come in pairs.
Okay.
And also because that first line, like, y'all really should have known what happened in the book, Breakfast at Tiffany's. I can't. It's like I
can't even forgive you for this.
First page, y'all.
I agree. You know what I feel like?
Especially being a professional writer.
Before giving my rating, I do feel like I'm talking about two separate things when I'm rating the book because there's how the book was written for stuff like that, and then there's just the honesty in which, she
can write.
Yeah, she could write, but some of it was very, I don't know, like the content of the book was very interesting, and it was nice to get that like insider scoop on like this particular group of people in New York at this particular time. You know what I'm saying? Like it was pretty fascinating in a way. But at the same time, some of it was like, okay, I don't know how to say it. Like, the way that she wrote about it was like oversimplified in a way. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't.
It's almost abstract.
It was very like, much so. So the style of it, yeah. So
you had to really pay attention.
You did.
You really had to pay attention. It wasn't spelled out for you like the show.
No, not at all. So I think that was jarring to me because it was like, if you watch the show and then write the book, that could be something to think about. So to me, for everything, I'm gonna give it 3 3/4 stars.
Okay.
Just because I liked the content, but I do think it was like all over the place a little bit in terms of or not even all over the place, just the way that it went down. I don't know how to say it, but I'm giving it 3 1/4 cigarettes, whatever kind she smoked.
Oh, I think Carrie smoked Marlboros, at least on the show.
Marlboro
Lights or something like that.
Probably.
Something like that. All righty.
So yeah. It was good though. I enjoyed it. Yeah. Definitely check it out. If you're a Sex and the City fan, it's good to get into that.
And it's a pretty quick read. It's not
it was easy. It was easy. Yeah. But don't go into it thinking that it's getting ready to be the series. You're gonna be definitely like surprised, like,
very
everything's
much,
terrible here. It was like, you know what it reminded me of?
No,
what was and I know you remember this because you remember everything. Remember the cover, 30 and Fabulous?
Oh, that's
where she's like smoking with no
question mark.
What question mark? You know how like you like watching the show was like the glossy covered magazine, but like reading the book was like seeing the cover of that.
Of her the next morning.
And
bags.
it was like bags, smoking the cigarette, like 30 and
Greasy
fabulous
hair,
question mark.
Yes. I think that's a very, very good
Thank you.
metaphor.
So yeah, so just be expecting that. Like if you watched it and then saw it, that's what it was giving for me. So anyway, but I still enjoyed it. It was very nice to get into it. You guys, let us know what you think. If you have Sex in the City stories or things that you feel like we missed or didn't tap on, let us know. Hit us up on the Fab Podcast across social media, the Fake Ass Book Club on YouTube. And then I guess that means we have to spin this MF and Will, friends. So.
Let's spin it.
Spin it. Ooh. Okay. No book.
No book. We're
this
done
week.
with books.
We're not done.
Not forever. I know. Oh, because I was thinking we should do a reading program. Like a summer reading program. Wow. And then if we read enough books at the end of the summer, we can have a pizza party.
Ooh. We really need to get organized, friend.
We're gonna watch season 3 of White Lotus.
Yay!
On HBO Max. Oh, that was the whole thing. HBO Max is now HBO Max.
When did it stop being HBO Max?
It's a whole thing. Like they were like, it's gonna be purple and it's Max now. It's like, what?
Why?
So it was so
Cinemax?
stupid that they were like, right. Exactly. There's
What
a whole
kind of
other
Max?
property that doesn't even exist anymore. But like,
But
yeah, that was
still,
super
I'm old
confusing.
enough to remember.
Just call it HBO. Goddamn, it's not
HBO,
that
we know
expensive.
what it is.
Home box office is right there.
HBO has been. I remember before we had cable when we were really young, like when hearing the music, it'd be like, yo,
and that little spinning around that all. It's like, oh, there's
like
a
good
free
stuff
HBO preview this week.
Yes.
Let's go. Yeah, because that's where Fraggle Rock came on.
HBO's crazy. HBO, I don't know why you have to do that
y'all
to
were,
us.
well, anyway,
I was
they're
tripping.
coming back home. So,
Okay, great.
HBO Max, White Lotus season 3. I'm excited.
I am too. I've really enjoyed season 1 and 2. I guess you haven't watched those. But
That
I've
first
seen
one
those.
sent me for a loop. I was like, man, colonization's
White
bad.
Lotus is crazy. But each one kind of taps into it a little bit,
I know,
though, which
that's
is
why
crazy.
I know. That's what I know. I like kind of get enough colonization on a daily basis in my real life. So I was like, but you know what? It was
good,
funny
though.
and it was very entertaining. And once again, we'll just be exploring the lives of rich white people.
That's all we got. So exploring the lives. So I'm excited. Yes, you guys. So hopefully you come back next week and join us for that fun episode. You guys, as always, if there's stuff you want us to review, please let us know. Reach out to us.
Your body belongs to you.
100%. And then just enjoy yourselves. It's going down, y'all, out here. Be safe. Take care of yourselves and each other. And we'll see you guys next week, okay? Peace.
Before we go, we must give thanks to Urban Nerd for providing our music, and legal services were handled by Trezanae M. Atkins. If you like what you heard, please feel free to join us every Wednesday for another Fake Ass Book Club. Cheers.
Thank you guys for listening. You can check us out at thefabpodcast.com. Please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast wherever you're listening right now. We want to hear from you. Come put it in our life. Thanks again, and until next time, peace, love, and the Fake Ass Book Club. We out.